You're watching DVC Breakfast. What are Nigerians saying about the trending issues in the country today? That's all we'll be looking at next. Let's head out over to streets of Port Harcourt, where our correspondent Uche Okoro is standing by on the newspaper stand. Uche, it's good to have you join us now. What are residents saying? Can you take us through and let's hear from them?
See you, Mike. Thank God it's Monday. It's good to see you again. So here in Port Harcourt, I want to start. First off, I'm at a place called Education Bus Stop along the Ikwere Road here in the capital city of Port Harcourt at this newspaper stand. I'd like to start right off with the Daily Sun on my left, and you can see the headline here: 2023 Obi Kwankwaso Alliance under threat. The Daily Sun, 2023 Obi Kwankwaso Alliance under threat. That's the front page headline for the Daily Sun newspaper here. And then I'm moving right ahead to the Nation newspaper. The screaming headline here says, Wike's silence unsettles the PDP. Governor Wike's silence unsettles the People's Democratic Party. That's the front page headline on the Nation newspaper this morning. Next on my list here is the Vanguard newspaper. You see the Vanguard here, alleged organ donor, 22 years old, not 15. That's coming from the Nigerian Immigration Service, saying that the alleged organ donor, 22 years old, not 15. That's talking about the situation, the predicament of the Ikwere Madus in London. That's it. Alleged organ donor, 22. Page headline reading: Northeast fight over slot. I'm still searching, says Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate there. Northeast fight over slot, while the candidate is saying that he is still searching. Running mate. That's the headline here on the Punch newspaper. I'll start on my left. I'll speak to this gentleman here. You've seen the headlines. You've heard me call them out. I'd like you to first tell me your name and tell me what you think.
I'm Matsu Iboro Effiong. What is happening here on Punch, I will quickly go on Punch. I hope we are all Nigerians and we are right to be vote and be voting for. I don't see why Tinubu will be still searching for a running mate over some months or some weeks now. He should pick somebody from the party or from the southern part of Nigeria that will be a running mate, not searching. We are not going to buy a running mate in the market. It's we Nigerian that will be the running mate so far. Yes.
Okay. Just before you move to the Nation, you say he should pick a running mate from the south. Are you sure you've thought that through?
Yeah. That is the truth. Because over and over years, they not are ruling us. Now, if it is happening that a northerner that will be the president, a running mate must be a southerner.
Okay. All right. So what's the next story on your mind?
Then Wike's silence unsettled PDP. I don't really understand where or the area the PDP is unsettled. Neither they are not going out for general election because of Wike's silence or whatsoever. As for me, Wike is not picking primaries. Is not picking primaries. It should follow others as others will follow him in his state during his own era in governorship.
Okay. Right, I'll come back to you. I'd like to speak to... Oh, he has left me. All right, I have a stop. Okay, let's just continue with you. All right, go ahead.
All right, whether Wike pick the primaries or not, it should be politely and follow others. When it was his time in Rivers State, others fell and he picked the primaries and go to the governor. And people were happy and follow him. So he should not be silenced over anything.
Well, we heard the young man there speak, from a newspaper stand. Anyway, I think the temperament in Lagos might be different from somewhere else because
and some days might also be like that.
Yeah, actually, because we've seen in Lagos where everybody wants to please. Talk. I want to say something.
but this appeared to be a picture of Monday blues.
No, exactly.
Or maybe the readers, we saw some people looking very serious at whatever they were reading. Interesting, but the young man there was speaking about. He was addressing the issue, the Nation of the Niger Delta version of the Nation, by the way, was talking about how the seeming silence of Governor Wike is unsettling the PDP. well, even though he has been silent, he's also been busy accommodating interesting guests, one of which was Peter Obi last week. We spoke a bit about that and what that could mean for Peter Obi. But if I can come back to the issue of the medical tourism in Nigeria, I think that the Immigration Service also brought some form of clarity. At least now we know to an extent, so to speak, that the intended donor wasn't a teenager, as was peddled last week when the news trickled in. He happens to be at least in his 21 or thereabout, will be 22
years now.
And earlier on, we're also looking at, okay, so if one decides to be a donor, shouldn't he, be admitted? That, like Sam said, there was an element of alleged mischief and crime on the young man's mind. We'll wait to see how that pans out, because now we can say the issue of consent had been settled. So if he was a major or he was of age, then he must have given his consent. That is, if you can also argue that the senator told him what he was going in for, and then maybe when he got in there, he saw an opportunity to also rip off the senator. But I think it's also good for us to know that if you must be a donor, money shouldn't be the first thing on your mind, because the doctors earlier on said there should be a way that money would not be a factor. Otherwise, it commonizes, this critical business or task that the donors have to play, essentially to save a life. And that's what it should be all about.
It's a human angle of it that really touches me.
Okay.
The humanity of the parents trying to do everything not to sacrifice their own daughter. Remember, in the Bible, you have the story of Jephthah, who said, if I win my fight, and the first thing I see, I will sacrifice. So he turned out when they go home, it's his daughter. And the daughter had to yield to that vow, the Jephthah's vow. So it's a very painful thing, and that's why I said, when he saw it, he said, why do you trouble me? I told his daughter, I mean, why? Maybe I thought I would see an animal and go and sacrifice. It's you I see, and so on. There's also the myth of Iphigenia. That is the Agamemnon, who was supposed to steal the sea, but he could not do that unless he sacrificed his daughter Iphigenia, and he had to look on while his daughter was burned to death. It's a terrible thing for
terrible
parents.
is even an understatement.
Yes, so you to watch and experience the...
It's okay. All right. We still wait to see how these things pan out. A young lady has come out, if that video is anything to go by, a young lady has come out to say, she's
willing to donate one of her kidneys.
Yeah.
If it matches. I mean, that is the...
Absolutely.
That's the spirit.
Exactly.
That is the spirit.
All right. We apologize. We couldn't go back to Uche Okoro, who is in Port Harcourt, and the newspaper stand there. He was talking to Nigerians reacting to headlines across the newspapers.